It's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm about ready for bed. But the UK government have just announced that they have thrown together a draft plan to put electric charging points, a number of electric charging points around the country for electric cars. Obviously they're going to try and standardise this. I think they're going to start it in London. In this same announcement they said they're going to throw 100 or so cars into the quagmire for free assessment by people. I don't know if they're going to be paying a higher charge or a small fee, or just paying for the electricity that they use, but so you can assess how good electric cars are. The only concern I had with the announcement was that they were showing the goinggreen.com electric vehicle in it, and it doesn't pass the European safety legislations, it doesn't pass the world safety legislations for a car, as it's classed as a quadruped because it's so light. So it can get away with just passing motorcycle laws, which you don't need airbags in motorcycles, and you don't need crumple zones in motorcycles and things like that, like, you know. So it's just a quadruped, and they're not very safe. Whereas really they want to get a big company like Toyota involved if they're going to do something like that, and I think they should get Toyota to or negotiate with Toyota, and if they don't want to do it, or somebody else, maybe convert a car like the Prius, take the hybrid petrol engine out of it and stick some extra batteries in and have it a plug-in electric car. And the Prius passes the safety tests, and it's not a bad car to drive, and it's got plenty of room in for a family, so it's something to demonstrate electric vehicles. I'm sure Toyota would rush together 100 or so vehicles so London can have them flying around for demonstrating electric vehicles. I can't see a problem. I think Toyota would be quite happy if they were approached. It's not just Toyota, there's other companies out there that are doing it as well. I do believe Saab have got quite a good one coming through, or is it? No, it's Volvo, sorry, Volvo have got a good one coming through. GM are working on it, Ford are working on it, Mercedes are working on it, Volkswagen are working on it, Honda have got it out there. So, you know, there's some small American companies which have got pure electric cars already, which are outstanding, but they're just sports cars, and I can't see the government letting 130 mile an hour sports cars fly around the streets of London for free. I think that's why they want the goinggreen.com cars, because they're just around around London. But the Prius is a better car because there's places where you can do 60 miles an hour within London streets. There's quite a few places you can do 60 miles an hour in London, so you want a car that can do 60 miles an hour if you're allowed to do 60 miles an hour. You don't want to be sitting there holding up traffic, otherwise you're going to feel like a complete prat, aren't you? And the Prius is going to be quite good for that, I should imagine. I can see where they're coming from, advertising the Going Green car, but it's not fast enough, and it's 60 miles an hour is acceptable in a city, because there's going to be places where you can do 50 or 60 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour isn't enough. I always say with electric vehicles you can double the speed if you double the ampage, or thereabouts, like, yeah, and half the battery life. So then you get 20 mile radius from the car. It's not good enough to go green carring. Anyway, that's electric cars. The government have just decided they're going to try something. It's about time too. The Aussies are already doing it. I don't see the Yanks doing it. Mind you, Yank private companies are doing it, like, you know what I mean, so they're pushing it themselves, the private companies in America. And again, in England, no private company is going to do it. The private ones in England that you see are just pathetic. Indian companies are trying their hardest. Japanese companies are trying their hardest. German companies are trying their hardest. Well, your Lotus are doing it. Lotus are having a go. Yeah, that's an English company. I've seen some rumours from Lotus out there. If the technology is correct, and Lotus can do what they say they can do. They've got a car which is outstanding. They've got a four-wheel drive SUV vehicle which is outstandingly fast and has a range of 300 miles, and you can fully charge it in around about an hour, which is pretty outstanding. That's electric vehicles. I'm tired now.
Economies and markets across the world that promised a high return, but with a global recession too close for comfort, they now want their money back. From Iceland, whose economy has collapsed, from Hungary, which has had to ask for financial first aid from the ambulance service of the global economy, the International Monetary Fund, from Ukraine, which is receiving a loan from the IMF of more than £10 billion, and from more powerful economies such as South Korea, whose currency has plunged, and from Argentina, where the price of government debt has collapsed. Even here in the UK, where we're in better shape, overseas investors are taking back their cash. In just the past 24 hours, the IMF has agreed to help replace billions in funds being withdrawn by nervous creditors and investors from Ukraine and Hungary.
In recent years, Hungary has gone on a foreign credit binge. Its public and private sectors have borrowed well over $100 billion of equipment, and in fact, of pulling their money out. The stock exchange has lost half its value, and the local currency has been in free fall.
Here in Ukraine, the economy is driven by steel exports, but as global demand has slumped, so foreign currency revenues have evaporated.
As for the UK, well, we're not perceived by investors as the highest risk, nor are we seen as the strongest economy in the world, which, at a time when markets are ruled by fear, is why sterling is falling. Last November, £1 bought $2.10. Tonight, after dramatic falls over the past few days, but $1.10, it's a decline against the US currency of 26%, in part because of the damage being reaped by our tumbling housing market and because of concerns that the government may be borrowing just a bit too much.
What history tells us is that financial crises usually lead to long and deep recessions. This one may be worse even than most others, just because the previous credit boom was so widespread and so large across so many countries, and the resulting bust now is also so widespread.
Which is to say that most economies are in a mess, even if some are in a bigger mess than others. Robert Peston, BBC News.
Well, the markets are just opening in Asia and in Australasia. Let's get the very latest from Rico, who's in Singapore for us. Hello there, Rico. Monday was, as we all know, a particularly bad day for the markets in Asia. What's been happening in the trading recently?
Well, not as bad as Monday, James, but still the global stock sell-off continues. Japan is at a fresh 26-year low, but the falls are not as bad as yesterday. The market right now being led lower by Mitsubishi UFJ and other large banks, and adding to the pain, James, with retail sales in the country in the month of September falling for the first time in 14 months on slumping consumer demand. South Korea resuming its declines after finishing a tad higher on Monday, with auto stocks, the banks, electronics, Hyundai Motor, Shinhan Financial, and Samsung Electronics all down between 3 to 5%. Australia is also in negative territory, with banks, energy, property, stocks, and retailers topping the losers list. So it looks like it will be another red letter day for the stock markets. James.
Let's just talk a little bit about currencies, because on Monday the pound fell to its lowest level for several years against the dollar. How are Asian currencies faring?
Well, if you take a look at the numbers across the board, investors, James, continue to flee emerging market currencies, from Philippine peso to the Indonesian rupiah to the Korean